The journey back to their homeland was long and quiet, the weight of their accomplishments settling in with each step they took. The shards, once subject to parent strike, were now encased in protective glass, secure within a vault. They had completed their mission, and yet, as the familiar silhouette of their drum came into view, it felt as though something else had been occasioning fighting greater than just victory. Even Lara and Ashen walked side by side through the streets, but the cheers and celebrations from the townspeople didn't fully reach them. They had seen too much, and endured too much to be swept up in excitement. But there was a quiet pride in their hearts, pride not just in the task they had completed, but in the bond they had forged with one another. The museum was the final stop on their journey. The shards were displayed carefully on a pedestal, surrounded by historical records of their journey, mass journals, and artifacts. People from all over came to witness the extraordinary relics, to hear the stories of what had been accomplished. They marveled at the bravery of the three who had dared to challenge the storm itself. For Ian, it was a moment of reflection. He could hardly believe how far they'd come. The young man had once stood trembling in the presence of the dangers and was now part of something much bigger, something that would live on for generations to come. He watched his children press their faces against the glass, their eyes wide without and he couldn't help but smile. They had done something lasting, something that would endure. Lara stood beside him, her quite strength a beacon throughout their journey. In the glow of the museum, soft lighting, her eyes met his, and there was a warmth her beach had never been present before. He could see it in her, the way her body had relaxed now that the weight of the world was on her shoulders, the way she was constantly watching for the next threat. But even more than that, he saw the love. It had grown between them deeper and stronger through every trial, until it was something undeniable. After the crowd had thinned and the museum was left in a hush, even found himself standing before Lara, the shards now secured and safe. The air between them seemed charged, full of unspoken words. He reached for her hand, his fingers brushing over hers, and for a moment, everything else faded away. Lara, he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. We faced storms, but shadows, and common things burned darker than could have ever imagined. But through it all, I owned you, and that's the greatest victory of all. She looked up at him, her smile soft but full of the strength I'd always admired. I feel the same way, even, no matter what the future brings, we'll face it together. We always have. Even now, suddenly overwhelmed by a rush of emotion, and reached into his coat pocket. The quiet click of a ring box opening code in the space between them. Inside was a simple silver band, etched with delicate designs, a symbol of all he had overcome. Laura, will you marry me? He asked, his voice steady but full of sincerity. I want to spend my life with you, through every storm, through everything that's yet to come. Her eyes softened, her lips parting in surprise, and then she nodded, her voice a whisper of joy. Yes, yes, Ethan, he'll marry you. Tears welled in his eyes, and he slipped the ring onto her fingers, sealing their promise in the quiet of the museum, surrounded by evidence of their shared history. Years passed, and the world that had once seemed so unpredictable began to settle into a new rhythm. Ethan and Lyra married, their love growing deeper with each passing day. They had children and a bratty spirit of little ones who often ran through the museum, fascinated by the stories of their parents' bravery. They would sit together at night, Ethan telling them tales of the storm and the shadows, his voice rich with emotion as Lyra smiled beside him, her hand resting on his. As for Ashen, his path led him away from home. He had always known that the journey with the shards was over. There were still mysteries to uncover, still pieces of the storm's legacy that had yet to be discovered. And so, while Ian and Lyra found peace in their family, Ashen continued the quest, traveling far and wide, seeking out the remaining shards, ensuring that the legacy of their shared adventure was passed on, whether through quick stories or hidden artifacts waiting to be found. But even always kept in touch with him, sending letters, updating him on their lives. Ashen's letters in return were often short, filled with hints of places he had visited and the things he learned. There was no true end to the journey for him, but he had become, in a way, a guardian of the story, a solid protector, ensuring the shard never fell into the wrong hands again. One quiet evening, as Ian and Lyra sat watching their children play in the yard, even turned to her, a thought crossing his mind. The storm had passed, but life was a different kind of storm. It was unpredictable, often messy, but full of beauty in ways they had yet to fully grasp. He squeezed her hand, his heart full as he spoke the words that had been on his mind for years. We faced the fiercest storms, Lyra, but we built something here together. Her smile was soft, her eyes warm, and in that moment he realized this was their legacy. Not just the shards, not just the battles they fought, but the life they created together. Like that, no matter what came next, would endure. Yes, we have, she said, leaning her head on his shoulder, and we always will. And so, the storm was over, but their story had just begun. The museum would stand as a testament to their bravery, to the love that had carried them for the darkest times. And the journey, well, it was far from over.